came to town a couple of years ago to talk about how can the nonprofit organizations, faith communities, and government programs that are working on social issues, how can they work together more efficiently and effectively? And that's the sort of the genesis of the collective impact approach.
So we invited Albert here, we organized a small group of us, and from that, Albert has really led us down a path of understanding what collective impact is and the role that we each play in coming together to start to define and then to execute a brighter future for us here in Rapid City.
Collective impact is a philosophy, a way of thinking that allows us all to come together as a social community. The team, Albert, Don, and Megan, have brought a level of credibility to this issue that we've never had before in Rapid City and could not have achieved by ourselves. And to capitalize on each other's creativity and energy, and we've never really had that before.
Well, it's not a program, it's a process. Collective impact starts at the bottom and talks to everybody.
It's really illuminating for everybody to take a look at an issue from a higher level and see how the problem itself can be solved as a city rather than as a program.
We had buy-in by major players in the system also, within our community, instead of some divisiveness like, oh, here's just another thing, and there are only going to be this one group of people who are going to do it.
And when I got in this line of work and community engagement, I realized that there were a lot of community stakeholders who weren't really working together because of maybe they had a disagreement in the past or whatever the case may be, but you need a strong person, a certain individual to come and unite this group that maybe didn't agree on certain policies and topics, to bring them back to the table and work together. Collective impact has really got like our community stakeholders excited again.
Well, I have worked here in the capacity of a police officer for more than 20 years, and so I have seen the social services element and the resources that are available try to meet the need of our community, but I've never seen it done in a more orchestrated manner. They jumped into a very complicated set of circumstances, and they didn't let those complications overwhelm them. They stayed focused. They really were able to identify the community needs and the pulse of the community very quickly and maintain their focus to achieve an outcome, and that is a better Rapid City.
Albert, Don, Megan, I got to know them those first days, and I liked what they had to say. It raised some hope for those of us who grew up here in Rapid City as a Lakota person. And so we appreciated the city leaders when they brought these three people in to try to do something about it in an organized fashion.
It was very, very helpful for us to have Albert and his staff working here with us in Rapid City through collective impact. It gave voice to so many people and really allowed us to come find some solutions and try and work out some things that have been historically plaguing us.
It's a really intuitive model, and just makes logical sense, and so I think that's where people are really drawn to it.
We brought together 100 leaders from across the city, included the mayor, police chief, fire chief, number of executive directors of nonprofits, some CEOs of some of our most well-known businesses, bank presidents. We also had a number of native leaders, and we had a number of regular citizens, all in a room, 8 hours a day for 3 days. And in that 3-day, the group created shared language. So now we have some models that came out of that work that group did. And those models have been, if you will, socialized throughout a lot of the community. So a lot of people are using the same language now, and they're talking about the same interconnections. You can just do so much more when you have shared language, when you're looking at things the same way, when you have created the model itself. So it was a process of creating a model that's citywide, that shows how everything in the city is interconnected.
Between the modeling and the mapping and also the facilitating, it just made it very easy for every single type of brain in the community to have somebody to relate to.
A lot of times I think actually people assume that the town is just fine. Why would we need anything like that? And I think as the process has gone on, it's been so beautiful because so many of those very same people and even more have recognized and learned how deep and wide the community stretches. And so the networking and the ability to connect people with resources and with education has been phenomenal.
I think even when Albert came in initially and took time with like me, but other people in roles like mine and all across the community, And really it was a process of listening. It's like getting a fresh set of eyes on how things work. And everyone's opinion mattered. There was no perspective that was unimportant. And so they worked hard at listening and pulling in the different perspectives, and we appreciated that.
Collective Impact has brought together folks that I may have never sat with at the table before, and it might be business leaders and others outside the social services world. But what we've learned through this process is that we've had such good collaborations. Sometimes it's just we're missing some of these pieces to these collaborative efforts.
I think it's changing the way that community members talk about change and how we're going to get there.
It's just been really beautiful to watch that transition and to see people excited about engaging in the process and understanding that it's okay to work through the process, because that's how you get to the prize at the end.
It's the first time in history that we have got to this level with the help of this collective impact program, and you can see things starting to flow. Our ideals in helping our own people, and everybody, even the community, has stepped up a level also in the past year.